honorable member of parliament. This is the thing which is happening here. I hope you can see this. This is the real thing, honorable minister. Democracy is under threat. Democracy is under threat, honorable minister. This is the thing which are saying here. You check this message. This is the real thing. Check this message. Check this message. Yeah, democracy is under threat. Check this message.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, everyone, so the video you just watched is a Zambian legislator, Honorable Bowman Lusambo, staging a one-man protest against what he termed diminishing democratic space in the new Dawn administration led by President Hakainde Hichilema. He was displaying the banner to the UK Minister for Africa, that is Vicky Ford. The minister is in Zambia on a 3-day official visit aimed at continuing building modern partnership between UK and Zambia. The banner read, "The Zambian Speaker is not impartial. Parliament is not independent. Speaker is killing our democracy. There is no corruption fight, but political persecution." Now, Honorable Lusambo was highlighting the impartiality of the Speaker of the House, and that was no fight. There was no fight against corruption, but rather political persecution. Honorable Lusambo belongs to PF, the ousted political party, which was being led by Eddie Kalungu. Now, there has been a lot of things going on in the parliament. Like towards the end of March, we saw Honorable Lusambo, among other MPs, being expelled from parliament for their contact. However, the ruling was overturned by the Constitutional Court. So those are some of the things that Honorable Lusambo is trying to highlight on the banner there, where he's saying there is no, democracy in Zambia anymore. Ever since President HH took over, a lot of things have been going on. But of course, everything that he is saying has been met with criticism. A lot of Zambians say, hey, the time of Eddie Kalungu is over. It's high time you embrace the changes being brought in by the new government led by Hakainde Hichilema. So this is what it's all about. And I'm going to bring you more stories coming from Zambia. And we saw another press conference taking place of yet another legislator coming out, accusing the government of, not fighting corruption as well. So that video is also coming up next.
Colleagues from the press and all friends and colleagues in our cause to defend our democracy. Good morning. And good morning, countrymen and women. I want to begin first of all by reminding the Zambian people that the time we launched the Operation Democracy, people called us names. Others said we are bitter and that we needed to give UPND a chance and give them time, since they had just assumed office. But looking at where we are now, barely 8 months, the country's economy is a national disaster. The economy is as good as non-existent. We are living on hand to mouth. And when you look at our democracy, and you look at the rule of law, you look at different sectors like the agriculture sector, you look at the health sector, you can all agree with me that it is disaster after disaster. And if you may recall, at the time that we're launching the Operation of Democracy, We told the Zambian people that soon they will come back to us to thank us for the quick move we had made of pointing out what this government and the fact that this government has no direction, and that this government is being led by one who is a pure and proper greenhorn when it comes to governance of a country. Fellow countrymen and women, members of the press, we have chosen a governance system which is plural, multi-party democracy system of government, which means let the people govern themselves. Anyone who applies to become president of this republic or this country, Zambia, they have to adhere to this governance system. You have to meet the fundamental qualification to uphold, defend, and safeguard the Constitution, period. HH, my elder brother, applied 6 times, and we are sure he knew the job, or we were sure that he knew the job, and whatever he was applying for, he understood. The 19+ million Zambians and the people of this country who are the greatest stakeholder to this governance system, and it is their right to have a say on how they are governed. In this case, I'm basically saying that the Zambian people are the key stakeholders, and they have a say in how they are being governed. No one can stop them, and no one should stop the Zambian people from commenting on the welfare of their own country. All the Zambians are equal stakeholders, and no one should be intimidated. And I want to say to President Hakainde Hichilema and his colleagues, no one will be intimidated. Patriotic Front will not be intimidated. Nakachinda and others, those who are radically committed to defending our democracy, will not be intimidated. On 11th August 2021, Zambians went to the polls and elected a new president. But this didn't mean that the governance system ended right there. Zambia has always existed. But it looks like Zambia was born, looking at the attitude of our friends in government, it looks like Zambia was born the day Mr. Hakainde was elected. We have had presidents in the past. Presidents just like governments come, presidents just like governments, they come and go. There shall surely be others, and another is surely coming after Mr. Hakainde Hichilema is gone in 2026. And President HH saw an oath holding the Holy Bible to uphold, defend, and protect the supreme constitution of our land, or the supreme law of our land. This does not mean you can, in this case, arrest people on corruption without investigation. This does not mean that now you can arrest people for expressing their different opinions. There is no one who told President HH to promise the Zambian people that when he wins, he will reduce the price of fuel. That when he wins, he will reduce the price of cooking oil. Nobody put a gun on Mr. Hakainde Hichilema to promise that he's going to reduce the price of minimum, or price of sugar, or indeed the price of salt. We remember him demonstrating to the Zambian people that we can't have people subjected to buying, cooking oil in sachets. But it looks like he has done a fantastic job to reduce us to even smaller subjects. And today, I want to take this opportunity to announce to the Zambian people that in honor of the fantastic job Mr. Hakainde has done so far in making our jobs, our lives difficult, we announce that these sachets are now called Balis. So pakuya mkushita, kuya mkulanda timkwa impeniko ka Bali. You go and tell your people in Mose, amu bwasamnduye ga Bali. Kaga ga Bali basa. Gula tubusu atu otutu tusara de agasa utanga. Ngufote kwacha ino mu New Dawn. Babali babele gabasa. He has increased everything. And therefore, we want to call upon President Hakainde Hichilema. He should not start blaming people who are questioning him over what he said from his own mouth. Let him learn from his Siamese twin, President Chakwera, who is equally facing similar circumstances of mismanaging a country. At least for him, he dissolved his entire cabinet and faced the Malawan people and apologized for all the fake promises that he made, and that he is sobering up and possibly will continue to sober up. But it looks like ours here is still in the bubble of thinking that he's a Messiah, when in fact the reality is speaking against him. They say in Bemba, insoni ebuntu. Ngoamono kutida wali rufyanya tawaishiwe usuminafi. You see, we will not allow anybody to take Zambia backwards to the days of one-party participatory democracy, where people used to say, Waikatako wapia, kumululesa, panshi babali. That will not be able to permit. Those days are gone, and it will never come back. That's how come we're surprised that we have, a gentleman by the name of Chilufya arrested for commenting on the welfare of our relatives who serve this country as patrons, our relatives who are men and women in uniform. They are not unionized. They depend on the Zambian people to speak on their behalf. And it is so surprising to find that in this government, the new darkness government, Ketes of Mr. Tayari, is actually applying double standard when it comes to applying the law. Dr. Fred Membe commented on the welfare of our soldiers, on the welfare of the police, on the welfare of our relatives who are in the law enforcing agencies and indeed the security wings. But he was never arrested. But we are having a gentleman, just because he was critical of the new government based on the atrocities they have committed so far, in abrogating each and every promise that they made. Today he is behind bars. And we warn the Zambian people that you are electing a dictator that is presenting himself like a lamb. Watch the space. You will see what will continue to unfold. I want to say that the Zambian people have passed a verdict in 1991 against one-party dictatorial participatory democracy. The Zambian people passed a verdict in 2011 to validate multi-party democracy. And again, the Zambian people have passed a verdict in 2021. And we believe that the Zambian people who did that will continue to do that through democratic means. The whole world knows Zambia to be a place for smooth transition, and no one will be allowed, whether powerful, whether a dictator, or ugly, cruel, or shrewd person, to change the governance system of our country. entertaining comments from confused and disgruntled people who are stranded wherever they are is a sheer waste of time. Zambians have moved forward in our governance system. It's surprising to find that people commenting on social media would cause the entire government start to move and insinuate things. It's unfortunate that a few days ago, there was even some propaganda story from UPND social media platform trying to suggest that there could be somebody planning to undermine this government. Such conversations should never even be entertained in this country. We are a multi-party democracy, and the Zambian people know that they have their day every 5 years. Misaka Inde Ichirema has a straight jacket of 5 years to perform, or indeed, as it has been demonstrated, to fail to govern the country. And the verdict is coming through the ballot. To try and suggest that even the former president, who is enjoying his retirement and peacefully sitting at home entertaining his grandchildren, could be brought into useless and careless debates by UPND surrogates. That is irresponsible. And it is responsible of President Hakainde Hichilema to remain mute and quiet over such careless statements. You go and arrest the Tayari, but you are not arresting your cadres that are talking recklessly in the manner they are talking and suggesting things that are alien to Zambia. We know how to deal with the unperforming governments. We deal with them in the ballot, not any other way. And for any person to think or suggest that President Lungu, for example, who handed over power peacefully, if he wanted to hold on to power, he would have done that when he was still commander-in-chief. But he handed over power peacefully, and then 8 months down the road, you want to start suggesting such unthinkable things. I think such unfair conversations should not be tolerated. I want to urge my older brother to listen. In Chewa they say, Chisiru Chinaona Nkondo. Listen to people who are speaking. And if you paid attention to Mr. Tari, you would have possibly learned one or two things that you needed to do. Allow me to address you, the journalists. Journalists, look at what you are going through yourselves. We all live in the same environment. We all go to the same shops. Even for you to come here, to come and cover this press briefing, I can understand and know the difficulties that you are facing. When the economy has collapsed the way this economy has collapsed, it affects everybody. But for the fourth estate, the greatest challenge that the collapse of the economy brings is that you have difficulties to apply yourselves effectively to gather information and transmit it to the citizens, which entail the consequences that our democracy will end up in jeopardy because people will remain uninformed. I want just to urge you, please gather courage to report facts and report things that you yourselves are going through, because what you are going through is what the Zambian people are going through. They say if you want to destroy democracy, first destroy the media. And HH obviously wants to make it hard for you to report what is happening by making it extremely difficult for you to even move to cover events. There is a policy under the UPND that even when you go to cover the events, there are no courtesies even just to help you get back to your offices, even when they know of what the economic atrocities they have caused in this country.